Right. 14, you have a given condition. Given cosine alpha equals the square root of 5 over 5. Okay. This alpha angle is between 0 and pi over 2. You also have a sine beta equals negative 4 over 5. This angle is between negative pi over 2 and 0. Okay. Your job is finding sine alpha plus beta. All right. Between 0 and pi over 2, that is okay, first the quadrant. So you're going to label your triangle alpha first. Okay. Cosine equals x over r equals the square root of 5 over 5. So your x value will be radical 5, your radius will be 5. This is radical 5, this is a 5. Your job is finding y value, which is this is your right triangle. And as you always right, so happy in seeing hypotenuse. Okay, that's your radius, which is the hypotenuse of the triangle. So we can use a squared plus b squared equals c squared to find out y value. Your a squared will be radical 5 squared, and b squared is a y squared, and c squared is a 5 squared. Radical 5 squared is a 5, plus a y squared equals 25. So y squared equals 20 because you have to subtract 5 from each side, and y equals the square root of 20, which is this is couple go out single stay. If you break down 20, you can write it 2 times 2 times 4, my bad, times 5. Okay, because 2 is 4, 4, 5 is 20. That's your couple can go out. Once you go out, you only write once. Okay, single stay to radical 5. So we're going to label y as a 2 radical 5. All right, let's see beta. Beta is between negative pi over 2 and 0. Okay, this is a positive pi over 2, negative pi over 2. So negative pi over 2 and 0 will be this, quadrant 4. Okay. Sine beta, this is your beta. Sine beta equals y over r equals negative 4 over 5. The important part is you have to decide who do you going to give this negative sign. Should I have a negative 4 over 5? Should I have a 4 over negative 5? Okay, because this is a negative side of the y-axis, the y value has to be negative, so this is a negative 4. And your radius is always positive, okay, because the radius is a length, and distance between 2 points has to be positive. This is a right angle, and that's you saying hi to the hypotenuse. That's your r, that's your hypotenuse. If you remember geometry year, we learned Pythagorean triple. You should know 3, 4, 5 is a triangle. If you don't, you still can use a squared plus b squared equals c squared to figure out x value is actually 3. Okay, because you will have x squared plus negative 4 squared equals 5 squared. This one give you 16, this one give you 25. You have x squared plus 16 equals 25. X equals square root of 9, which is x equals 30. However you want to solve. All right, we label the triangle. That's the first thing we want to do. Now all we need to do is just plug back into the equation. Sine formula sounds like sine cosine, cosine sine. Okay, because the sine is a good student. Sine actually follows the rule. They take turns. Sine, cosine, cosine, sine. And when you have a plus, sine follows the rule. You actually have a plus here. You put alpha, beta, alpha, beta. And then you go back to the triangle, find the information we need. Sine alpha equals y over r, which is 2 radical 5 over 5. Cosine beta, you have to go back to the beta triangle. equals x over r, that's a 3 over 5, plus cosine alpha, x over r, radical 5 over 5, times the sine beta, y over r, which is negative 4 over 5. All right, we just need to clean it up. 2 radical 5 times 3, that's 6 radical 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Positive and negative multiply, you get a negative, so there's a plus sign is a minus sign now. And radical 5 times 4 is 4 radical 5. The denominator, 5 times 5 is 25. Okay? Now, because we have a common denominator, we can actually combine the numerator together. 6 radical 5 minus 4 radical 5 is 2 radical 5. The denominator is 25. And that will be the final answer for sine alpha plus beta. 2 radical 5 over 25.